All right, welcome in, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kobold. Here with me again is my guy, Max Faulkner. Max, what is going on?
Oh, it's just another beautiful day here in beautiful sunny California. Waking up this morning, man, I was jittery. I was excited. I didn't even wake up from my alarm clock. I woke up from excitement. Okay,
Oh,
my feet were twitching a little bit, like just my feet, just just jiggling a little bit, just jiggling to like my heart was racing. I think it was connected with my heart, right? The way that it might be palpitations. I might have to go to the doctor or something. That's probably an issue. But I thought it was excitement, and I'm excited to be here, Cole Breezy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Wednesday's a great day over here in Denver, Colorado. Is a kickball league tonight. But what else been going on, man?
It's I'll tell you right now. There's a strike happening here in LA. Okay, you heard about this
Uh-oh.
writer's strike? Okay,
Mm.
is anyone aware of this? Okay, so shows right now are on pause. In case you didn't know this, everyone. Okay, all the people out there, and also, first of all, for the fans that are out there that are listening, thank you for tuning into the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast this
Hell
week.
yeah.
We really appreciate you,
Thank
and
you.
please like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for joining us. But this writer's strike, Cole Breezy, there's pickets, people with picket signs marching around saying, "We want more pay. We want more pay." So I train a bunch of producers. Okay, for those of you that also don't know, I'm a personal trainer here in LA, and I'm training actors, I'm training producers, I'm training executives. All right, I'm training some people in the
Hell
business.
yeah.
Okay, so I just had to ask. I was like, hey, when you drive past these protests and you see these people, these riders with the picket signs that say on them higher pay or honk, if honk for the riders, honk for the riders, do you honk?
I'm not honking.
I didn't honk. Sorry. I
I'm
don't
not
know enough
honking.
about it apparently. But anyway, Cobrizzi, if I'm not mistaken, you have something to tell us because is it just me? Did I have this dream that you had an accident?
Oh, well, you must have heard from probably Kelly. Uh she must have been spreading the word, but yeah, I did have an accident. A couple weeks ago, my guy Devin Thomas, who I coached with at Cardinal Ritter High School back in Indianapolis, him and his wife Alicia, they came out here for his birthday, and we went to the Wiz Khalifa concert at Red Rocks. If
Oh,
you've never
nice.
been if you've never been to Red Rocks for a concert, it's a whole different atmosphere. Gotta
Mm,
gotta put it on your bucket list.
mm.
But Wiz definitely brought it. He did his thing. But like I said, it was Devin's birthday, so we were celebrating. First night they got here on Friday, we got ice cream. Saturday, we had a birthday cake. Sunday, went back for more ice cream.
Oh,
And then on Monday, they left. So I finished the cake myself. Okay.
oh.
So that's 4 days in a row. That's a lot of dairy for your boy here.
Are you lactose intolerant, Cobrizzi?
Little sensitive, yeah. So that's a lot. 4 days in a row. So on Tuesday, I think I was just sitting in the living room watching TV, and I thought it was a fart. And they say you can't trust a fart, and it wasn't a fart.
Oh.
It went through my boxers and my shorts. It got on the chair. And yes, I'm a 31-year-old man coming on here right now and saying I shit myself. 4 days in a row of ice cream and cake. I can't do that again.
Oh my. That's a lot of shit to be able to soak through your underwear, your gym shorts, and then to get on the couch.
Like you said, soup. Soup is a good description of what came out of me.
Oh, oh, would you say like a chicken noodle soup, or are you talking more like a stew? Are we
More like a gravy for your mashed potatoes.
That's a bummer, man. Hey, so everyone's been there. I had a conversation a couple weeks back where I almost shit my pants. This was the closest case of me shitting my pants that I've ever had, and it was at someone else's place. Like that. that was like my first time client. That was my first day.
Yeah.
I shit my pants and it goes on the floor. I'm not seeing her again.
No, you're
Not,
done.
not getting any
You're done.
referrals.
You're
It
done after that.
happens. It happens, everybody. So, when you get older, you gotta make sure that for sure whether or not that's a fart or some shit in between the gas, which we call a shart.
A shart is definitely what happened here.
Go Breezy sharted his pants, everybody. Oh my gosh. Well,
I'm
hey,
not
it's okay.
I'm not embarrassed to come on here and say it either. Damn it. I sharted myself.
All right. Well, enough about sharding. How about we jump right into it we're going to talk about baseball first, everybody.
Yes, sir. We're hitting off baseball now that the NFL draft is over. We did our recap last week, and baseball is the main topic right now. And then we're going to hit into a little bit of NBA playoffs. Going to hit on those 4 series before finishing with some news out of Iowa about some gambling going on with student athletes.
That's different.
So we're going to hit that at the end. But like you said, Max, we're starting with baseball. And to lead us off here, we always start with shouting out the division leaders. So we got in the AL East, the Tampa Bay Rays are still the best record in baseball, 29-8, a plus 116 run differential, Max.
29-8. These guys haven't even lost 10 games yet. That is, whoa.
Yeah,
that's real. I don't remember a team that has done this. Is this in the record books right now?
Not sure. It's
I don't know that stat.
They've got some things going on in the record books, like most home runs in their first this many games. They've got some stuff like that going on, but we're gonna have to look at best starts here recently.
Wow, amazing.
In the AL Central, we got the Twins with a 2-game lead over the Guardians, still the only team in the division with a positive run differential.
Yeah, I looked at this division, and the only team that is above 500 is the Minnesota Twins. Am I not correct, Cobrizi?
Yeah, and they're only 2 games above 500.
Yeah, it's a nasty league, and the fact that the Detroit Tigers are fighting, I believe, in third place,
2.5
kind of goes to show you what this is the dump of the MLB right now. The dump.
I agree, but go Tigers. Go Tigers. Big win today. I watched on ESPN Plus. Eduardo Rodriguez was really dealing it.
Oh, he was in free agency for us, as well as I think a lot of fantasy leagues out there would probably agree that Eduardo Rodriguez was available for maybe the first 3 weeks of the season. He got snagged up pretty quick in our league, and he's looking like a top 10 player.
I slept on him.
Yeah,
I slept on him.
I did too.
Moving on to the AL West, pretty good division here outside of Oakland. We still got the Texas Rangers leading it here. They got a 2-game lead on the Angels, 3.5-game lead on the Mariners and the Astros. This got 4 teams, all positive run differentials. This is a really good division.
A lot of fun to watch. One of the best divisions that you can watch this year. I am very surprised that there's so many teams that are fighting for it, to be honest. I thought the Astros would just run away with it like usual. But we got some good teams. If you are in the West Coast, you're happy with watching these games.
Yeah, definitely. Great division. Moving on to the National League in the East. Again, we've said it every week. The Braves, they've got a 7.5-game lead.
Wow.
Only team in the division with a positive run differential. Also not a very good division. Max, is this division over?
I thought that this was going to be one of the best divisions to watch. I know last year it was. It's kind of hard to go back-to-back years where those divisions are just dominating. But yeah, you weren't expecting the Mets not to be doing well. The Phillies have like a World Series, the World Series hangover, but not winning World Series hangover. So it's that backwash champagne from the Astros that we're drinking.
The
backwash of the champagne. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed in this league, to be perfectly honest. But the Braves are really good. You cannot doubt on the Braves. I picked them winning in the first place anyway.
Yeah, right there with you, bro. Moving on in the NL Central, we still have the Pittsburgh Pirates leading the division. Only a 0.5-game lead over the Brewers. They got a plus 11 run differential at 21-16. We're going to do a deep dive here in a bit on the Pittsburgh Pirates. So any thoughts you got on them? Let's save them for later.
I agree. I agree with that. Pittsburgh Pirates looking great.
Looking great. Great start. Finishing up here in the NL West, we got the Dodgers taking back first place. They're 22-15, got a 1.5 game lead over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Max, are you worried about the Padres at 19-17?
They're right there. All right, they're starting to heat up a little bit more. I'm not worried. Okay, it's going to be between the freaking Dodgers and the freaking Padres. This rivalry has started. Okay, the Padres went all in last year. You know how much money they spent? I want to know the amount of money they spent, but it's a shit ton of money. I can't believe I don't know where they found the money, to be perfectly honest. Have they been saving for the past 15 years? I don't know. But they spent a lot of fucking money because they think they can win a World Series this year. But let's start with a NL West pennant.
Yeah, start there. Moving into the top 5 players according to our Yahoo League, fellas. We see the top 3 guys the same, but the order switched. Garrett Cole finally fell from number 1. He's number 3 now, with Ronald Acuna Jr. taking over the top spot and Luis Arias there at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Slipping in this week at number 5. We want to slip down to number 5. We just talked about the Arizona Diamondbacks a little bit. Their stud pitcher, Zach Gallen, has slipped into the top 5.
Okay.
He's 27 years old, Max. This is his 5th season. I think we might be sleeping on Zach Gallen a little bit. He's got 8 starts so far this year. He's 5-1 in those 8 starts. That's already the second most wins he's had in a season. 83% win percentage is his career best.
Damn.
He has pitched 49.2 innings, which is 5th in the major leagues. His 64 strikeouts is 3rd in the major leagues.
Damn.
He's got a 2.36 ERA, which is by far his career best.
Mm-hmm.
Here's 2 numbers that stood out to me here, Max. He's got a 0.85 whip, which is his best of his career and 1st in the league amongst pitchers with more than 44.2 innings pitched. The other stat that stood out to me, his previous career high of his strikeout to walk ratio, the K to walk ratio, his previous career high was 4.1. This year, 10.7. This guy is dealing it. He's got Arizona thinking about a wild card. I like Zach Gallen. He's on my team. He's been on my team 3 years in a row, and he's going to be on my team probably forever because at 27 years old, he's still young.
Wow. A 27-year-old pitcher that's looking like in his prime. And what I've been really enjoying about these pitchers these days, if anyone has noticed, pitchers start out really hot. Okay, they throw 100 miles an hour, it seems like. Then they start getting older, and they have to start figuring out, okay, well, I don't throw 100 miles an hour anymore. What else can I do in order to stay elite? Okay, and that's starting to put maybe a little spit on the ball, a little bit of dirt on the ball. Nothing, no banned substances. Okay, can't have that. Can't have a Mountain Dew in your pocket and then decide to put a little extra sugar on the ball when you go out there. Can't do that. Can't do that. But Justin Verlander as well as Max Scherzer, okay, are good examples where they just seem like a bottle of wine, right? They seem like an old bottle of wine. That the older it is, the better it tastes. I don't get it. I'm not a wine guy. We drink beer, Cole Breezy, so I don't know.
True.
So, but as of right now, Cole Breezy, with Zach Gallen, you have a guy that's in his prime, in his youth, and then once he makes that turn, is he going to turn into a Max Scherzer? Is he going to turn into a potential Justin Verlander? I think it's possible because this guy is a stud pitcher right now.
I think it's possible too. Another stud pitcher that slipped into the top 5 this week for the first time at number 4 in our Yahoo League. We're going to talk a lot about the Pirates today. It's their ace, Mitch Keller. Max.
Mitch Keller, boys. I picked him up off of waivers. I know a lot of fantasy baseball leagues, you had to have been on top of this. You had to have. He has a 2.72 ERA. has 56 strikeouts already. He's sitting at a 4-1 record. He had a big shutout on Monday against the Colorado Rockies. This guy is a stud, also at 27 years old. Nobody was expecting what the Pirates are doing. Okay, we're about to get into that, but especially Mitch Keller. We were totally sleeping on the entire roster of the Pirates. But Mitch Keller is showing that he is one of the top dogs on this Pittsburgh team.
Yeah, you mentioned that shutout against the Rockies here in Denver. Rockies got a lot of work to do, but that's a big reason why he's in the top 5 in our league. But moving in to our first team deep dive of the season, we're going to look at the Pittsburgh Pirates today and their hot start. We're going to see if these guys are for real or maybe they're pretenders. We already talked about Mitch Keller, how he's the number 4 player in our Yahoo league, and then they've only got 3 other guys ranked in the top 200 in our league. They got David Bednar, the relief pitcher. He's 66th. Brian Reynolds, your guy.
On my team. Keeper.
He's ranked 61st right now. Shout out. 10th round pick. That was a hell of a pick by you, Max.
Well, I kept him in the 10th round.
Kept him. Okay.
I kept him in the 10th round. He was drafted, I believe, in the other league. Our previous season by someone else, and then I snagged him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good snag. Good value there. And then the last player ranked in the top 200 is Vince Velasquez, ranked 102nd, who has just been put on the 15-day IL with elbow inflammation.
Yeah.
So only 4 guys ranked in the top 200. That's not it's not very good. We're looking at their batting stats right here. They are outside the top 9 in batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, runs scored, hits, homers, ribbies, and total bases. They're all outside the top 9. Very average in the middle. But they are 4th in walks.
Oh.
They're 9th in strikeouts, so they're not striking out that much. They're getting on base. And they're 1st in stolen bases.
Oh, shit.
What can you tell me about those hitting stats, Max?
I'm very surprised that they're out of the top 9. Now, I believe 10 teams make the MLB playoffs now. It used to be 8. Okay, but now I think it's 10 now, right? Maybe. I should look that. I think it's 10.
They've been flip-flopping.
I guess we should. Yeah, they don't know how to make up their mind.
MLB's been flip-flopping.
There's a lot of changes in the MLB that it's hard to keep up with sometimes.
It is.
But this kind of sounds like a Moneyball situation in a way. That there's no way that they have that much money. Well, they did just sign Brian Reynolds to an 8-year, $108 million deal. I think that's what it was. So great. I guess they have some money. But the fact that they have a high on base percentage, they get on base, they steal a bag, and then hopefully the guys hit a single so they can get that run in. I mean, that's you get a guy in scoring position, you get that ball in the outfield. That's an easy run.
Moving to the pitchers here, we see a 3.87 ERA. That's good for 11th in the majors. They've got 13 saves, which is tied for 2nd, and 19 quality starts, which is 1st in the league. So they're getting quality starts. They've given up a few too many hits, too many walks, average and strikeouts. At 21-16, they got a +11 run differential. If we didn't know, they're 2-8 in their last 10. So they might be coming back down to earth. These stats read average to me. They're all between 10th and 20th in all these categories. I think Pittsburgh's an average team. They're going to slip back to maybe 3rd by the end of the season. I do not think the Pirates can win the NL Central.
I'm definitely going to agree with you on that, Cobrizzi. I think it's just a bolt of inspiration to lead off the year, but they're going to slow down. I think they'll slow down. I think they'll have a couple good players. I think Mitch Keller, he's got nothing to lose. Let's pitch the best season that I possibly can. Brian Reynolds signed that huge deal, so he's going to try to have an all-star season again. But David Bednar, really quick, just so we know, he is one of the best closers in the game. If you have him on your team, you're very happy with that. So I agree. I think that they might slip down to a 4th position in that league. I think the Cubs are really good. I think they're actually better than Pittsburgh. The record doesn't show it right now, but I think they're a better team.
And my pick to win the NL Central, the Brewers, I believe, is bigger or better.
Oh, definitely. I also think the Cardinals, they're going to come alive. I know their record is like 11-24,
I got it
12,
for you
12 and
right now.
23. It's one of those. It's like a really bad record.
Let's give them a little. Let's give them a little respect. They're on a 3-game win streak, 13-24.
13-24. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They're going to heat up. Okay. They have the MVP, Paul Goldschmidt, and you got Nolan Arenado on the other side. I think the pitching is what's duped them this year. But if you're a Cardinals fan, take a deep breath. It's a long season. They're going to be there in the end.
Yeah, solid division right now. But yeah, I don't think the Pirates can pull this off. Great start. Happy for you guys. Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong, Pirates. But I don't think so.
Agreed.
Max, you were telling me that we got 2 brand new candidates for the biggest beefcake award.
Yes. Okay. We are back. We are back with the biggest beefcake. Biggest beefcake. All right. So last week we talked about Barry Bonds and we talked about Roger Clemens. You know, we've been talking about Sammy's big dogs. We've talked about Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. We're talking about Jason Giambi and Jose Canseco. This week's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different. Might hopefully move a little bit faster too, because Barry Bonds was a lot. Okay, that was a big conversation. All right, so as it should be
with Barry.
Oh yeah, that was the biggest story. What a beefcake. Okay, but our first nomination today is Ivan Pudge Rodriguez.
Pudge,
yes. So you might be scratching your head right now at me because you're thinking, well, hold on a minute. Pudge has not exactly been, he was not caught with steroids. Okay. Yes. Okay. But he was accused of taking steroids. Okay. So I'm going to tell the story of that. I'll tell up some stats and then let's see how you feel. Do you think that he did it or he didn't? So first of all, how this came about on whether or not Pudge took steroids was Jose Canseco called him out in his book Juiced. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Just called him out. Just put his name in there for no apparent reason. That's what people are saying. For no apparent reason. He has no idea why he would put him in the book, but Jose Canseco says so. So that's just the thing. That's just one thing. Okay. But here's the big one to me. Okay. You remember the big hurt Cobreezy, Frank Thomas?
Yeah. The big dog from the White Sox.
Frank Thomas was awesome. I really enjoyed watching Frank Thomas. I was not a Chicago White Sox fan. I was definitely, I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. Come on now. All right. But Frank Thomas was one guy that I respected. Okay. That was a big dog. Okay. But Frank Thomas called out Ivan Rodriguez as well as Jeff Bagwell. Okay. You remember Jeff Bagwell?
Astros.
Wow, Astros, one of the weirdest stances in baseball I've ever seen. How he's able to hold that position. That's some strong legs, man. Some strong legs and core. Well, anyway, Frank Thomas said that they both took steroids. Okay. According to the Dallas Morning News, this is what Frank Thomas said, quote unquote. It's uncomfortable at this point. I'm sure this year is going to be uncomfortable because we've got 2 great players going in. But they know. It's no secret. If they didn't do it, they would be stomping and kicking in their interviews saying, I didn't do it. Once again, that was from the Dallas Morning News that I heard that Frank Thomas had said this. So let's talk a little bit about his stats, Ivan Rodriguez, okay? He career-wise, he has 2,844 hits. He has 1,332 RBIs. 311 career home runs, a .296 batting average. Now, I know when you hear these stats, you're like, well, he's on the 3,000 club. He's on the 500 club. He's a catcher. Okay. Catchers don't normally have the bigger stats. They're the ones that have to play the defense, right? Okay. You got to remember that. They're playing catch the entire game in a squat position, but this guy can hit the damn ball. Okay. So in 1999, he won the MVP. He's a 14-time All-Star. He won the 2003 World Series with the fucking Marlins. How heartbreaking that was if you're a Cubs fan, and we all remember. Yeah. We all remember Bartlett. We remember. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Moises Alou was pissed. Okay. Took away a World Series from Moises Alou. Poor guy. The guy that pisses on his hands. You hear about that? Pisses on his hands.
Moises?
Everybody. Back in the day, Moises Alou, he even came out with it. It wasn't a secret. He pissed on his hands before the game to have a little bit tighter of a grip. Okay, to
So he
have
didn't
more grip on his.
wash. He didn't wash his hands
No,
after
just
that. Then
pissed on his hands and then
he's
throwing the
giving
baseball
everybody a high
around,
five
slapping guys
every
on the
inning.
ass.
Every inning, he's giving people high fives and slapping on the ass with piss-filled hands. Jesus, Moises, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Have some hand
Ridiculous.
sanitizer in there or something.
Have some
But
hygiene.
what
Fuck.
are we talking about anyway? We talk Moises Alou's biggest beefcake or about Rodriguez? Okay, let's get back.
Maybe next week.
All right. All right. Moving on. Okay. He was a 13-time Golden Glove. He's one of the best catchers ever to play the game, everybody. A 7-time Silver Slugger, NLCS MVP. All right. And also, what I saved for last, he has made the Hall of Fame. Back in 2017, he was put into the Hall of Fame. Now, really quick, just a quick question for everyone out there. Due to Jose Beefcake Canseco and the big hurt, Frank Thomas, do you think Ivan Rodriguez should be in the Hall of Fame, considering that some of the other names that we tossed out, A-Rod, Barry Bonds, Marco Guar, Sammy Sosa, like those guys hit over 500, 600 home runs. What about this guy? You think it was fair, Cobrizi?
Well, you said Ivan Pudge Rodriguez has never been proven convicted of steroids, right?
Right.
And the Hall of Fame saw that and they accepted him. And I'm gonna have to side with them. They know a lot more than me. They know a lot more than me out there. I think two guys saying, "Hey, he did it," that might just be sour grapes. Might just be sour grapes on Frank Thomas's chin. Okay. I think he's good.
I also think that he's clean. Okay. I just brought this guy up because he was accused. So is he a beefcake? According to the Don't Tell Mom Sports podcast, we're going to say no. This guy is not a beefcake. This is a Hall of Famer because he did not cheat.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Fuck yeah. All right. Moving on to our second beefcake of the day, Andy Petite. Everyone remembers Andy Petite because you know why? This guy was in the World Series 5 times and won all 5 of them. He might have been in more than more than 5 World Series, but he has 5 World Series. Okay. That's why he's a big time name for the New York Yankees. So Andy Petite, he admitted that he took steroids. I'm sorry, steroids, but HGH specifically twice in 2002 and once in 2004. Okay. And this was because he was recovering from injuries. He was taking steroids to recover from injuries.
Interesting.
Fair. Okay. That's according to the LA Times. His career, let's toss out a couple stats real quick. His career ERA is 3.85. He has 2,448 strikeouts. His record is 256 and 153. That's a 63% win percentage. That's pretty damn good in the MLB. He's a 3-time All-Star, once again, 5-time World Series, and he's an ALCS MVP. So he's not in the Hall of Fame, Cole Breezy. He admitted that he took steroids, but due to injuries. And this guy is not in the Hall of Fame right now. What do you think? Do you think there's a reason he's not in the Hall of Fame right now? Do you think it's because of the steroid situation? Or do you think he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame at all?
I think he's not in the Hall of Fame because he admitted to using steroids. I would say that guys get hurt every year, every month, every week, and they're not taking steroids to come back from their injuries. If you said he only took it 3 times, took steroids 3 times, that sucks for you to be left out, but you still took steroids, you still cheated. Other guys are hurt and they're not using it. No excuse.
I hear you on that. Here's one stat, though, that's a little bit interesting when it comes to this. There have only been 5 pitchers since 1901 with more than 250 wins who are not in the Hall of Fame. Can you name any of those, Cobrizi? Other than Andy Petite? He's one of those 5.
No?
Okay, here are the guys. That, some names you're going to know. Some names everyone will know. First one, Jamie Moyer. Okay. Then we have Roger Clemens. We all know why he's not in the Hall of Fame yet.
Of course.
Tommy John, which there's a surgery named after him. Does anyone know what Tommy John surgery actually is?
Is it the torn UCL? in your book?
I believe you are correct, but to help fix with Tommy John surgery, if I'm not mistaken, you have to remove the palmaris longus muscle located in your forearm. You have to remove a muscle. That's interesting.
That's scary.
That
No
is
wonder it
scary.
takes you a full year to come back. At least a year.
So if there's a surgery named after Tommy John, why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Because apparently he has over 250 wins. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Steroids? We'll get back to you on that here on the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. And our very last one, everybody, is CC Sabathia. I love CC
CC.
Sabathia. I loved watching him.
CC.
He was
Heck
a lot of
yeah.
fun. He had a lot of swag on the mound. The big
He
dog,
did.
big dog.
Yeah.
So that's it for our biggest beefcake this week. Thank you for listening to that, everybody. So Andy Pettit, the reason he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, simple because he took steroids. So he's probably not going to be in there for a while.
Admitted to it. So yeah.
Yep.
Max, real quick to finish up our baseball here. Do you want to fill the people in on a little trade in our fantasy baseball league? The first trade of the season.
Tell me if you think that this is fair, everybody. Okay, so I drafted Shane Bieber with a 2nd-round pick. Okay, I decided to trade him and a 6th-round pick to get Yordan Alvarez and a 20th round pick. Now, really quick, before we jump out of our seats about it, we play a keeper league. Yordan Alvarez was kept in the 22nd round. Every single season, you have to move up 2 rounds. That means I can keep him next year with that 20th round pick. I just traded myself a keeper for a guy that I would not be able to keep in Shane Bieber.
Yeah, I think it was a good move. I think it helps both teams. The Queef you traded him to needed pitching help.
Yep.
And the fact that you get to keep Yordan next year, I think you won the trade moving forward. You're going to be able to keep him for a lot of years with a 20-round value next season.
Yordan Alvarez is amazing.
Shane Bieber is also very good, so that's going to help
very
him
good
here. And he gets a 6th-round pick. So like I said, it helps both teams.
He can actually technically keep him, but he's going to keep Ronald Acuna Jr. Only because, once again, we have 3 new players in our league this year, so we're allowing them to keep one player from the first 5 rounds, which we cannot keep, but they can try to keep one of those players. I think he's keeping Ronald Acuna over Shane Bieber.
So tell us what you think here on the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast. It was Shane Bieber and a 6th-round pick for Yordan Alvarez and a 20th, and Yordan Alvarez is now a keeper. Tell us what you think about that. All right, Max, let's get into a little NBA talk here to get in the middle of this podcast. We want to look at these 4 series real quick in the 2nd round. These they're all juicy, all 4 of them, but we want to start in the East. We got the 4th-seeded Knicks and the 8th-seeded Miami Heat. Miami is up 3-1 right now. There's only been one 8 seed to make the conference finals in NBA history. That was the 1999 Knicks. Miami is 1 win away from doing this. Game 5 is tonight. Jimmy Butler might be the MVP of these playoffs right now. And he's played 8 games. He's averaging over 33 points, 6.5 boards, 5 assists, 1.5 steals, shooting 56% from the floor as an 8 seed. Okay. Butler missed game 2 with that sprained ankle. That's the only win the Knicks got. We got a quote here from Julius Randle after their game 4 loss in Miami. Quote from Randle: "Maybe they want it more. I don't know." To hear that from one of your star players that Miami wants it more definitely looks like it. I got to agree with you. As a guy here that put money on the Knicks to win this series, I'm not happy about this one. Max, do you see now game 5 is in New York, games 5 and 7. Can the Knicks pull off 3 in a row here?
No, they cannot. No way. History proves it. New York, you guys just don't really know how to have a pro basketball team. Which surprises me considering it's such a huge city that has a lot of money.
A lot going on.
So you can buy players because that's what the NBA is. The Miami Heat are good. Jimmy Butler is a stud. Bam Adebayo is a stud. Tyler Hero is one of the best young shooters in the game. Okay, they play defense and they have top scorers. They're a great team. I don't even think the Knicks get one more. Miami's is gonna take them down.
Tonight? Okay.
Dude, Julius Randle just told everyone that, oh man, it doesn't seem like we want it. We don't want it. It's like, you know what? That's not going to hype up your team.
No, it's not. Definitely not good. Let's not fail to mention Coach Eric Spoelstra, championship winning coach. I think
Two times.
they have that advantage on the bench. They have the best player in the series. Miami, if they lose this, it would be a hell of a meltdown. But I think the Knicks have more talent with Brunson and Randall and RJ Barrett's all right, but it's going to be a hell of a feat to come back from 3-1.
Yeah, no way.
Moving on to the other series in the East, the 2-3 matchup, the Celtics and the Sixers. We saw the Sixers go into Boston last night and win to go up 3-2 in this series. One win away from going to their first conference final since 2001 in Allen Iverson. Embiid, MVP Joel Embiid over the last 3 games. He's gone for 30, 13 boards, 3 assists, 4 blocks, 34 points, 13 boards, and 4 assists, and then 33 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 4 blocks. This guy is playing like an MVP, along with his running mate, James Harden, after he took his trip to Vegas where he bitch slapped another man. In this series, through 5 games, he's averaging 26.5 points, 6.5 boards, and 8 assists. So doesn't look like that trip to Vegas affected him, Max.
No, it did not. He's a big boy. He can make big boy decisions.
Yeah, he can. This series is 3-2 Sixers going to Philly for Game 6 tomorrow. Max, can they close it out?
Yes. Actually, I think that it will go to a Game 7 because this is a great series. It's a great series. Celtics are really good. But I do think the 76ers are going to take down the Celtics to go to their first Eastern Conference championship since Allen Iverson. Because you know why? Did Allen Iverson win MVP that year, by the way?
I believe so.
Because they have Joel Embiid as the MVP. It's just, once again, repeating history. This is a good example of it. Let's go 76ers. Right. Let's go 76ers. I'd like to see it.
I'd be nervous to go to Game 7 in Boston.
Sure.
To have to win that. So you definitely want to get this one tomorrow night,
yeah.
Philly. I don't want to call out Celtics first-year head coach Joe Mazzulla here, but this guy's only 34 years old, barely older than us, first-time head coach in the league. There were a couple instances here, definitely in Game 4 and maybe even in Game 3, where I was like, how are you not calling a timeout right now? What are you doing? I know you got veteran players. Yeah. Al Horford's older than you. You got leaders on that team. Let them play it out. But there were just multiple times where, man, you need a TO right here. You need to draw something up. You need to refresh your players mentally and physically. And Doc Rivers on the other side, that might be a big swing there.
Yeah. How about that? That's a good stat there, Cobrizi. I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, I agree with you on that. Timeouts are actually hard to call when you're coaching out there. I understand all you need to do is this, but there's sometimes you don't want to use your timeouts early,
Yeah,
but
it's a game within the game. Definitely.
Yeah.
Moving over to the West, we got a star-studded matchup with the Warriors and the Lakers. The 6-7 matchup. I don't know how many times that's happened, but not many. Nah. Lakers are sitting there with a 3-1 lead. Game 5 is tonight in Golden State. In this series, LeBron is averaging over 23 points, almost 9 boards, over 5 assists. Anthony Davis is right there with him, just over 22 points, 14.5 boards, 3.5 assists, and almost 3 blocks a game. Steph Curry on the other side in this series, he's only averaging 25.5. Now, I say only because you think Steph's got to get over 30 for you.
Yeah.
He's averaging 6 boards, 8 assists. He's only shooting 38% from 3. And this was the big one for me, Max. He's only averaging 2.8 free throw attempts a game. He's not getting to the line. He's not getting to the line.
Shooting too much and not driving enough. I think that's your answer right there.
I think he goes off tonight. I'm definitely putting on some money on Steph. I think Golden State gets a win tonight to make it 3-2 to go back to LA. Max, can LeBron seal this one and go to the West Finals?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I think the Lakers are too old. I think Anthony Davis and LeBron are too old. Old news. But Steph Curry, he's a new face in the game that everyone's more excited about other than LeBron. So I think Steph Curry and the Warriors will figure it out. I think they're a better team. They're younger.
So they come back from 3-1 and
Yeah,
take down the Lakers. Wow, big call here.
I think it can happen. Yeah.
I think it can happen too. Just like I think the Knicks could possibly come back from 3-1, but I'm gonna say LeBron figures out to get one of these next three. LeBron
Okay.
figures it out. Moving on to the last series, in my opinion, it's the juiciest one here in Denver, Colorado. The 1-seeded Nuggets. Everybody wants to talk about title contenders all year, and people are sleeping on the Nuggets. They're taking on the Phoenix Suns. People wanted to see this matchup. Denver just got a big win here last night to go up 3-2 in the series. The Joker in this series is, wait till you hear this, Max. Joker in this series, he's averaging 35 points, almost 14 rebounds, and 10 assists, while shooting 58% from the floor, 47% from deep, and 83% from the line. Coming off 53 points in, what game was that?
Wow.
Game four, he had 53 points.
Damn.
And also in that game 4, did you see that little mix-up on the sideline?
Oh, didn't he go up to the Phoenix? The Phoenix Suns owner. Is that what? Am I correct?
New owner Matt Ishbia. He so I believe it was Josh Okogie for the Suns. He goes for a loose ball and doesn't get it. It's out on him. And Jokic sees an opportunity to get a fast break going 5-on-4 because Okogie spilled out. You know, he's laying on somebody. I don't know. Jokic sees an opportunity to get a fast break going. So Matt Ishbia is holding the ball, actually. I failed to mention that.
Oh.
Matt Ishbia is holding the ball.
Okay.
So Jokic comes up and tries to snatch it from him, and the ball just goes flying. And then Jokic raises his left arm, knocking Matt Ishbia back into his seat. It was a nice flop from him.
Yeah.
Jokic got a technical in the game. He got a $25,000 fine. People were raising hell trying to get him for a 1-game suspension over this.
For a flop? I thought floppers get fined $5,000.
Floppers are getting. So you're saying Matt Ishbia should have to pay the league $5,000 for flopping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I agree.
Hell yeah.
I agree.
Appeal that.
Yeah. I think it was a lot to do about nothing here. And if you saw, Matt Ishbia was at the game last night, and Jokic came over and they shook up and they had a laugh, and it's all good now. The Joker's having a hell of a series. I just named those stats. A couple more stats. Booker's averaging over 34 in this series. 5.5 boards, almost 8 assists. He's shooting 60% from the floor, 57% from deep, and 89% from the free throw line. And Denver's up 3-2. I got some money on them winning it. Let's go Nuggets. I don't know. Tough games in Phoenix, but if it comes back to Denver for Game 7 on Sunday, Nuggets are getting it.
Yeah, let's go Nuggets. I want to see the Nuggets make the finals. I would love to see them in the finals. I want to see Jokic play. The soft J always gets me.
Soft,
it's
soft
very,
J.
very soft, very soft.
People don't know.
Almost sounds like a Y. All right. Jokic in the finals. I want to see him competing at the elite level he always plays in, but I want to see it in the finals because I want to see the best talent on the court facing. If it's him versus Embiid, because that was a big, big fight between the MVP, right? That was a big one. So I do think that, I would like to see. I think the Nuggets win. I want to see Jokic in the finals.
The Nuggets are actually one of a handful of NBA teams that have never made an NBA Finals. So
what? I did not know that.
So here on the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast, we are both predicting the Denver Nuggets go to their first NBA Finals this year.
Let's go Nuggets. Let's go. And you're in Denver, man. You gonna get some finals tickets?
I was looking at prices last night, and the worst seat in the house with your fucking head touching the ceiling. You get up, you jump up to celebrate a dunk, and you smack your head.
Yeah,
those seats are over $350. So,
whoa,
how
probably not. Probably not.
I'll go downtown and watch it somewhere rowdy and be chest bumping people, and it'll be fun.
Spilling your beer all over your shirt.
Probably. I'll probably just pour it on me if they win.
Fuck it.
Whatever.
No. But speaking of Jokic that we're talking about here, and this whole MVP situation between him and Embiid, As we all know, Joel Embiid has won the MVP. Did you hear about the story with Kendrick Perkins and when he?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. First of
I,
all,
uh, sorry, I didn't want to
go ahead.
interrupt you,
No, no, no,
but
no. Go ahead.
you just said Kendrick Perkins, Big Daddy Perk. That's a big name on ESPN right now. I have not heard about this though.
Okay. All right. So Kendrick Perkins went on to First Take as he does, and JJ Redick was on along with Stephen A. Smith.
Oh,
They were
what do you know?
discussing. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yelling,
Yeah,
yelling.
always barking. First Take, that's all they do is just bark at each other. Okay. So they're discussing the MVP in the league. All right. You know what? Really quick. So just so everyone knows who Kendrick Perkins is, just a little background of him. This guy, when he was in the league, he was known as, correct me if I'm not wrong, Cobrizi, but he was known as a bruiser. Am
Oh
I
yeah.
right? He comes in on the court. He bumps people around, plays hard defense, gets rebounds, gets in fights if he needs to get into fights. Okay. He also he talks a lot of shit. Okay. Now I respect Kendrick Perkins play in the NBA. Right? I believe he won a championship with the Celtics back with the big three, the
Yep.
Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen. That was a fun team. That was a fun team.
The starting center on
Oh
that
yeah.
team.
Yeah. Now, me being a Bulls fan, I hated Kendrick Perkins specifically because that's what he did every single time that we faced him. He was just a dick. Okay. He was a jackass. He was definitely a jackass on the court. Okay. But I do respect his game because he knew that's what he does. He knew that's how he handles things. Okay. That's how he plays. Anyway, let's skip forward. Now he's an ESPN analyst. Okay. All right. Second of all, ESPN really Kendrick Perkins, out of all the retired NBA players that have an education, you get Kendrick Perkins?
Yeah, his Moses Moody clip from the NBA draft, 2 or 3 years ago, that should have got you fired.
This guy sounds like he has peanut butter in his mouth. He mumbles, he stutters, and he tends to catch himself in thought sometimes where he cannot finish a sentence. Okay. So, anyway, he's a dumbass. All right. He's a jackass on the court. He's a dumbass in real life. And now he's an ESPN analyst on First Take. Okay.
Damn.
Now, let's get back to this whole story. Okay. About Kendrick Perkins. Okay. On First Take, when they were discussing the NBA MVP, they brought up Jokic, okay, that he's potentially going to win his third in a row, okay? People, if you did not hear the stats that Cole Breezy tossed out that he's been doing, okay? He had 53 points the other night. This guy is a stud. Look at his stats of this season, and don't tell me those are not MVP numbers, okay? Okay? Not saying that Joel Embiid doesn't deserve it, because he does. Joel Embiid had an incredible season. He deserves it, okay? But on First Take, by the way, really quick, this was also a month ago. I'm sorry. I wanted to bring this up a month ago, but I was in Mexico. And then by the time that I got back and then we started filming again, I was like, we're not talking about the NBA. It doesn't matter. But I need to bring this up because I think it's important. All right. So Kendrick
Thanks
Perkins.
for clarifying that.
Yeah, just in case, to speed everyone up. Kendrick Perkins suggested on First Take that the NBA voters who vote for the MVP, the NBA voters who vote for the MVP, have racial bias towards white people. Okay. I know it got really quiet. Quiet.
Interesting.
Now, I know a few of you out there were like, well, no, that makes sense because, there's a lot of white owners. A lot of white owners would definitely be all for voting for a white guy to win MVP. Okay. You can think that. Fair enough. I'm so grateful for a guy like JJ Redick who actually stood up not only against Kendrick Perkins, but also ESPN. Okay. He called Kendrick Perkins out for this comment, but he's also calling out ESPN saying, you know what? Enough with this shit. Enough with this because this is bullshit and it's not real. Okay. This is what he said to Kendrick Perkins. Okay. He stood up against KP and let him have it, saying, what we've just witnessed, quote unquote, what we've just witnessed is the problem with this show, where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying towards Kendrick Perkins, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, that they favor white people. Immediately, Kendrick Perkins got in defense mode. watch the video on YouTube. Very funny. Very funny when you see Kendrick Perkins go, no. First of all, when JJ Redick is talking, he's rolling his eyes, looking up at the ceiling, shaking his head. Okay. And then he jumps in after Redick said what he said. He goes, I stated the facts. I stated the facts. I stated the facts. It's like, okay.
What?
So Kendrick Perkins, just I went ahead and said, you know what? I'm going to go look up the facts myself. I'm going to look this up, and I need to determine if I'm for my own sake about this debate. Okay. So here's your facts that you decided not to look up, Kendrick Perkins. Now, Cole Breezy, can you tell me when the NBA MVP was started in the NBA?
Man. I'll go 50s.
You're correct. It to give you an exact number is 1956. Okay.
Gotcha.
So if you were to do the math, that means that is 67 years of MVPs in the
Gotcha.
NBA. Okay. So for everyone out there as well, including you, Cole Breezy, out of those 67 MVPs, how many of those MVPs do you think were white players?
I know Larry got 3.
Yep.
So there's 3
Good
for
call.
Larry.
Good call.
I'm gonna say it's less than 7.
Oh, you're so close, Cole Breezy. You're so close. It is 8. There have been 8 players in NBA history who were white players that won an MVP. Okay. 12 total years out of the 67, because like you said, Larry Bird won 3. Larry Bird won 3, Steve Nash won 2, Dirk Nowitzki won 1, and Nikola Jokic won 2. Okay.
So
who
we're
are the
counting
other
European players. We're counting European players.
Absolutely. All the
Gotcha.
MVPs. We're counting them.
Gotcha.
We're counting all the white MVPs. Okay. Can you name any other MVPs, Cole Breezy, that were white?
Man, I mean, you just reminded me about Steve Nash. Jerry West.
No, but just to speed things up, I'll name out some names for you. Bob Pettit, Bob Cousy, David Cohen's, Bill Walton.
Oh, Big Bill.
And that's it, because I already named the other guys.
Big Bill.
So just based on what I have shown you, Cole Breezy, of what the facts that I've shown, which everyone, I will say right now, go out and look up your own facts. Do not just take someone's opinion as the real thing. Do your own research, because after I just stated those facts to you, how are you with Kendrick Perkins on this, as when he says that he stated the facts, or are we going to go with the actual facts that I found on the NBA history?
Kendrick Perkins don't know anything about facts.
No.
You said that 12 out of 67 have been white or European.
And 8, yeah, and that's 12 years. There's 8
12
players.
years.
8. So 8 players.
That Kendrick Perkins couldn't be more wrong.
What a douchebag, everybody. What a douchebag. This is another, I'm starting to create the NBA douchebag of the year. I think Kendrick Perkins definitely gets a vote for NBA douchebag of the year.
Kendrick Perkins is definitely in that category.
Yeah. Kendrick Perkins, you suck.
All right, Max, just to wrap up the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast for this week's episode, we want to talk about some rumblings out of the state of Iowa with the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Iowa State Cyclones. Have you heard anything about this, Max?
I do not know what you speak of.
So Iowa became the first Midwest state to legalize sports gambling back in August 2019. And from our move from Seattle to Indiana and then Indiana to Reno, we stopped in Des Moines, Iowa, both times with Kelly's family and her cousins and his friends. They were all in the apps. It was new, it was fresh. Everybody was betting, and it looks like that kind of spilled over into the universities there, the big time universities, Iowa and Iowa State.
Okay.
So according to a report, 26 student athletes at Iowa have been accused of betting, have been proved that they've been betting. They've been on the apps. They've been wagering games. These 26 student athletes at Iowa play baseball, football, men's basketball, wrestling, and men's track and field. And then at Iowa State, we have a report that approximately 15 student athletes and one person in the athletic department that have been gambling. And these players reside in football, wrestling, and men's track and field at Iowa State. So we don't know what they were wagering on. They could have been wagering on hockey. They could have NHL hockey. They could have been wagering on MLB baseball. We saw a couple weeks ago where the Alabama baseball coach got fired for tipping off a bettor that the starting pitcher wasn't going to be playing. He got fired.
Oh,
These guys are all definitely going to be serving a suspension here. What do you think about this, Max? With the growing, it's so easy to open up your app and put a wager down on any sport, any game, player props. It's so easy and accessible these days. It's spilling in to the student athletes at these universities. What do you think punishment should be, or if there should be any punishment?
yeah. This is a difficult conversation because if they are of age to gamble, okay, that's your right. You can do
21.
that. The only thing that I will say is if they are betting on their own team or against their own team, then we have a problem. Then we have a big time problem here. But we don't have any evidence of that, right? Not that we know of yet.
We don't know what specifics they were betting on. Each case is different.
Okay.
One guy could have put a $5 bet on a game. One guy could have been wagering $1,000 on his game that night, and he could have thrown the game, a la Pete Rose or whatever.
Yeah.
I think every case is different, but like you said, if you're of legal age and you're not breaking the law, you're breaking the NCAA laws. The NCAA says student athletes cannot wager on games of any sport.
Oh.
So according to the NCAA, these guys got to serve a suspension of some sort, but I don't think I agree with it. If you're not wagering on yourself,
Yeah,
then I think as a legal 21-year-old, you should be able to bet on the NBA playoffs tonight because
yeah,
you have no factor of outcome.
yeah. It's hard for me to understand why this is such a big deal. Especially if it is what it is, what you just said, where they vote on the NBA finals, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know how they can. How can they show that they vote? Can you look up a specific player and see what he betted on?
Yeah, you got the apps on your phone. You got your past bets, your history. You can definitely bring in every player for the investigation and look at those apps.
If you got nothing to hide, you show them the app. You show them what you betted on. If it's not betted on their team, then moving on. Oh, how about this? Even the university, you didn't put any bets on Iowa or Iowa State. If it's like the NBA and stuff, you're good. Moving on.
I agree with you, Max. I think this is just the start of a lot more of this. The NCAA, I think, needs to be more lenient, and you shouldn't be punished and suspended for betting on random games, soccer, pro soccer, over some different country. You shouldn't be punished for that as a student athlete.
I agree.
In Iowa. All right, Max. Well, that'll wrap us up here for this week's episode of the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast, where you can subscribe on YouTube. I noticed you didn't say anything about the Dikembe Mutombo back here.
It was out of the corner of my eye. I just didn't want to say anything until now. Apparently, yeah. Dikembe Mutombo. When did you get that?
I got it a couple of years ago, but with our prediction that the Nuggets are going to make their first finals appearance in franchise history, I had to pull out the old rainbow edition of the Nuggets here.
I like it.
What do you have to finish us off here, Maxwell?
Hey, thank you everybody for coming out to the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast again. For just sitting through us, sitting through our talk and conversation. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We want to hear back from you, especially on those questions that we had about the biggest beef cake, about fucking Kendrick Perkins, who's a big douchebag. And let's hear about those NBA finals. Who do you think is going to be going to those conference finals? Come back and let us know. We would love to hear from you. And yeah, Cole Breezy, other than that, you don't tell your mom about this. You don't tell your mom about this episode because your mom is probably in her 60s now. And then if she hears old Kendrick Perkins talking about how racist the NBA is, she might lose her shit.